Hey race fans, welcome to another edition of Glory Days Grill Turn 5 Turnaround. As you can see, we're here with the driver of the 41 Star, Tanner Kerr. Tanner, thanks for joining us, and we want to thank Glory Days Grill for sponsoring this event. But Tanner, we want to talk a little about your dad's race coming up here in a couple weeks, or actually coming up this week. But let's kind of go back in time and talk about how you got involved with racing with you and your dad and your family.
I guess we went to Winchester for the first time when I was 6. My brother was 3. Dad just took us out for a normal, regular show on a Saturday night, and I had watched NASCAR with my dad probably since the day I was born. I was probably laying in the hospital bed watching, when I was born, and we just started going every week after that, and slowly, got to know more drivers, and we just went every week. Started going to Hagerstown. Went to Potomac, just traveled to every track around here with Dad every single weekend. And, probably when I was 14, I started helping Brent Hoddle on his limited, and I helped Brent for 3 years, helped Donnie Kenny on his pure stock, JT Spence. I helped other teams here and there, and it got to a point where we were at a racetrack 2-3 times every weekend, and it was just a fun thing for Dad and I to do, along with my brother, and we really just made it an every weekend thing for us, and and then '07 we got sponsors together to be able to race quarter midgets at the Hagerstown quarter midget track, and I raced for 2 years till I was too old. My brother and sister still race those now, and that's when we moved up to the 4-cylinder 2 years ago, and we ran Winchester and Heston, and we really struggled with that. It was definitely a learning curve. It was a bad season, and then in August of '09 we were at Winchester for a Sunday show, broke a transmission, and then a week later was Dad's accident, and we lost Dad, and it really, at the time, I really wasn't worried about the racing. It just kind of, everything flipped upside down, and I pushed to keep my brother and sister racing. I did everything I could to keep them racing quarter midgets. And I really wasn't sure what I was going to do as far as racing last year. And we luckily had a sponsor step up, asked me kind of what we wanted to do, what we wanted to race. And racing a late model or a limited late model has been a dream of mine since I was 6 years old. I mean, that's what I've always wanted to race. It's what my dad always wanted to see me race. And he, my dad always wanted to see me get to that point. Right. And that's when we got this car off of JT, and really had a good piece for our first season. We were real blessed with sponsors and support from a lot of individuals. And along with that support, we also had a lot of bashing, a lot of comments, rumors made about us, and it was definitely a tough season last year, up and down. We really. I felt like we had a pretty decent rookie season. I felt like especially at the end of the year, we had a lot of strong runs. We ran well, but there was always the comments being made, just wondering how I came into this equipment and this opportunity. Comments being made about my dad and things like that. So it was definitely a lot of tough things to overcome, right. But I knew I couldn't give up, just because if I gave up, everything my dad worked for in his lifetime would have been for nothing. My dad worked hard every day, all week, all year long to provide for my family, and he sacrificed a lot, as well as my mom. They didn't. I mean, we didn't go out and buy a late model. We didn't, that was all sponsor help. But my dad did what he could to provide as far as our racing goes, and my parents sacrificed going on a bunch of vacations, putting in a pool, you know, those kinds of things to provide for us and give us an opportunity to do what we love. You know, with the quarter midgets, we traveled to Terre Haute, Indiana to race in the dirt grands probably 3 weeks before my dad's accident. That to this day was probably the best trip I've ever been on. You know, and it really brought us close as a family. You know, the racing's always been just something we could do together. And then once we started racing, that's when Mom and my sister got involved, and it was just really a whole family deal.
Well, Tanner, the thing that really impresses me about you is, you know, you're still a young man, but when your father passed away, you really stepped up and kind of took on a father figure role for your brother and your sister to ensure that they continued racing, and that's one thing that really impresses me about you.
When everything first happened, we had a lot of people come, you know, to the funeral. There was over 1,000 people that came to the viewing, and there was a lot of support. But at the same time, I knew that once the shock of everything, once that wore off, then it was just going to be the 4 of us. My dad was never coming back, and I knew that I was going to have to step up and be, you know, try to take care of my family, and I haven't always succeeded. You know, I'm not perfect. I try my hardest, you know, but I feel like I've done the best I can as far as trying to take care of my family and continue racing and just enjoy what my dad loved, you know.
Well, a few months ago, you come to me and you said, "Hey, Danny, I want to do a Steel Block Bandits race, a memorial race for my father," and we talked about, you know, different tracks and really, when we worked out this deal with Hagerstown, it really is the best fit because of your dad being involved with the quarter midget track. So before we talk about the Hagerstown Memorial Race, let's talk about the quarter midget track and some of the things that your dad was involved with there.
Well, he was vice president of the track. He became vice president our 3rd season, and you know, he really the track. There for a couple years, it had really taken a turn for the worse, in my opinion. It had kind of gotten away from the whole family aspect of it. It had just kind of, the competition had kind of taken over. And Dad's main goal when he became vice president at the quarter midget track was to bring family back into it, bring the fun back into it. You know, there's a lot of money spent in any form of racing. You know, you want your kid to be the best. You want your husband or, you know, any form of racing. And Dad's goal was to bring the fun back to it. And I felt like he really did that. And I felt like, you know, there was less tension at the track. Everybody kind of was just more relaxed, got along a little better, and it was just all around fun.
Right. Now I know when we announced, you know, we were going to have this event on April 30th at Hagerstown Speedway, you said, "Hey, I want to help put some money up." That event is now $4,100 to win and $200 to start. We've had some other sponsors come in. We will have a dash for cash. But what does this mean to you and your family and your sponsors to be able to honor your father at a facility that he was very instrumental in kind of rebuilding the quarter midget, because it is right beside the big track? What does that mean to you guys to be able to make that happen?
It really means a lot. You know, the support, you know, when Dad's accident first happened, the support from the racing community was unreal. You know, there was everybody from the racetrack, you know, people that I haven't necessarily gotten along with or, you know, haven't talked to in a while. Everybody came, you know, and called and sent flowers, sent cards, and now that you know, I got the idea to try to have a memorial race for Dad, and I wanted to honor his life and what he did within the racing community, what he did for us, and I wanted to not only make this an event for, you know, my dad, but I wanted to make it an event to give back to the drivers and the teams and the fans that supported us and helped us, you know, and I felt like a race at Hagerstown, you know, it's been known as the capital of dirt track racing, you know, and it's a great facility. The Plessingers are a great group of people to work with. I know my dad worked well with them through the quarter midget track, and I wanted to make it a good amount of money to win, a good amount of money to start, and draw a bunch of cars and fans for it, just to try to make it the crown jewel steel block race in this area. I wanted to give back to this area of racing, and just try to put on a huge event.
Well, I would have to say it is the one of the biggest races for steel block bandits and for steel block late models in general. If my emails and phone calls are correct, we're liable to see a record number of cars for Hagerstown and for our series. To the best of my knowledge, it's the biggest steel block late model event at Hagerstown. So we could have upwards of 50, 60, 70 cars, and we don't really know until they show up. With that, do you think the economy will force some guys not to come to this event, or with the money being on the line, they'll say, hey, I'm going to leave my home track to come and try to win some of this big money?
I really think this event's going to be big and draw a good amount of cars. I think that, in my opinion, points racing at a local track is kind of slowly dying off. In my opinion, the tracks just don't pay well enough to really stick to a track anymore. Besides, I think Virginia Motor, I think they pay real well. But I really think it's going to draw a good amount of cars, just because a lot of people knew my dad, a lot of people know what this race means to me, and I think that they understand through this event what the Steel Block Bandits are trying to do. They see what Hagerstown and the Bandits and my race team are trying to do, and that's just to really kind of benefit and help everybody out. So I think it'll draw a good amount of cars.
Now, Tanner, I know there's a lot of people you need to thank that is really making this event take place, and I'll give you an opportunity to thank a lot of those people.
The list is growing. I'll have a complete list run down to post on internet and stuff for when the race does get here. But we've had donations from numerous people. I can't sit here and thank anyone individual without having the whole list in front of me. But the donations have been anywhere from $25 to, I want to say, $250, and I want to say we've raised close to $1,000 to cover our 2,100.
That's
so it's it's been really great, and I'm really looking forward to this event.
But Tanner, what's your Facebook?
It'll be Tanner Kerr Racing. If you search Tanner Kerr Racing on Facebook, you should be able to find us.
And we're really looking forward to this on April 30th to honor your father, the Great Kerr Memorial. 4,100 to win, 30 laps. Come on out, race fans, be a part of it. Drivers, we want to see you support this event. You never know what might come out of it down the road. It could be bigger and better next year. So hopefully we'll see you on April 30th at Hagerstown Speedway. We want to thank Glory Days Grill for being a part of Turn 5 Turnaround. We'll see you next time, race fans.